Hi, everybody. I'm part of the stained glass. I got a lot of amazing comments and likes about my portrait of my dog, Claudia. So I got the request to talk about how I went ahead and made this portrait. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you. I happen to get Photoshop free from work, so it's been a really easy thing for me to do. So I first gone ahead and uploaded her picture into Photoshop. And then I hit select. Uh, oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong layer. My background layer, so this is straight from the thing. I'm going to hit select subject. And you can see that it's actually pulled a lot of my dog out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this. Into a new layer. So now we can see that layer 5 here is her mostly without the background. And then I just went in with my eraser tool. Just got rid of any of the excess stuff that was here. Could also go in and do a bulk and do this. But honestly, the eraser tool worked really great for me. Which is located over here. Uh, Now, for my portrait, I just wanted to do her face and not her neck. So I went ahead and erased along here, just doing that jawline. I tried to go ahead and get in and do some of the more organic shapes that were part of her face here. Then I just went and erased everything else. So now I just have her face. It's super cute in my opinion. I then went ahead and made a new layer. This is just a blank layer and it allowed me to trace over. So I have my paintbrush tool over here. And in my original one, I think I actually made the solder lines a little too big. So I'm going to just trim this down and make it a little bit smaller than I had before. But it's really up to you. And for me, what was easiest was to do it in a really bright color. So I happened to have picked green for mine because I just wanted something that was gonna jump out as I did this. So the first thing I did was look at what kind of her main characteristics there are. She has this really interesting white patch down the nose. And she actually has this little diamond bit on her head that she's really well known for. So I went ahead and did that as well. And I'm mostly following the fur patterns that I'm seeing on her face. And I'm starting with the really big differences. I happen to be using a mouse right now, and I know a lot of people in their applications. I don't like that line. I'm going to go ahead and undo it and keep the bigger line here. So there's different applications that people use, but this was kind of the most comfortable. This is almost the old school version of tracing. So for me, finding her fur patterns was important. Um, so you can see here, there's kind of an upward to her fur pattern happening here. And then it goes in a downward here and it goes a little bit of a side here. So I was kind of looking at that when I was creating her portrait. So I went ahead, kind of outlined the eyes first. And again, you can see that I'm not being like perfectly um here. And then I just like kind of followed the shading and what was dark and what was light. Um, so I created kind of this main line was distinctive here. She had her nose here that was pretty distinctive. And I ended up picking a piece of glass that kind of had a texture bubble to it. That for me was really helpful. So a lot of these details I didn't feel like I needed to make significant. Um, because I picked a glass that came with them. I then thought about like what the marks are of the lines that are in her natural features. Set up a little bit. I'm just undoing it, kind of following along in here. Followed along her ear here. Then I was kind of looking at what are the big distinctive parts of the color. For me, really picking textured glass, I've seen a lot of people kind of do lots and lots of pieces. Mine ended up being 44 pieces. So I eventually ended up creating this on top of her portrait. And again, the one that I created, I felt like the green lights ended up being too much. Then what I ended up doing is took her portrait out of it and just added a gray layer behind just so I could see those lines. And if anything was kind of weird, I went in and used my eraser and my draw tool just to kind of see how um balance it out a little bit more. So, this is the one that we were just making. And you can see in here that I'm like, oh, this eye shape might not be quite right or other things. So I might like go in and add some more detail into it. And you can see that I was kind of changing lines as I went. And it's very easy for me to kind of go in and make those changes and erase and think about what actually makes sense for a stained glass pattern. And then I went in and I created another new layer uh, that I put behind mine. And then I went ahead and added my picture back in. Hold on, I'm trying to find the picture. The picture I originally traced back in. And then for me, even though I was picking textured glass, I kind of wanted to find what the essence of that color was. So I went to the fill bucket over here and I clicked on the color, and it's gonna do a little like drop color. That's gonna take a colored sample. So I went ahead and kind of grabbed what the most dominant color of it felt like, and then hit OK, and then oops. Um, and then went back to my drawing here. Um, went back to my layer here and started filling in what felt like was kind of her main characteristics. So again, I'm going in and doing samples. I'm clicking here. I'm taking what I kind of think is the main thing. Now, my dog's actually gray and white, and it was just the warm lighting that was in the room that was showing up some of these colors. So I ended up like going in and changing parts of it. And I ended up getting glass that was kind of similar to these textures, filling it in here. So you get the general idea. Then I'm gonna go ahead. So once again, I felt like these colors didn't actually represent her. So for me, I went in and adjusted the color. So I just took the hue and saturation down. And if I lower the saturation, it's gonna turn it more and more gray. And so for me, that kind of helped narrow down some of what those colors were going to be, which eventually led me to this one. Yeah, I hope that helps some of you if you are interested in Photoshop as a tool for making your pattern.